This video is sponsored by Squarespace.
Hi guys, my name is Jamie and I am a first year emergency medicine resident. So I recently got the new iPhone XS and I'm back to the smaller size phone before I had the plus size iPhone. And I have to say I really enjoyed this size again, and I really like that I can just hold it in my hand and not necessarily need a pop socket, even though I really enjoyed playing with it before. Anyway, without further ado, let's get started on some of the apps that I've been using the most since starting residency. So the first app that I'm going to show you is a relatively new app that I found. It's called EMSG, and it basically has all the Spanish translations for all the things that you might say in a medical interview situation. So there's the introduction phrases that you might say, and if you touch it, it'll actually say what you want it to say. ¿Cómo está? So I like this app because unlike a lot of the other Spanish-speaking apps, it's catered towards the medical Spanish, and it's really broken down into different interview questions that you might ask in different scenarios. So for example, if somebody comes in with chest pain, it has all these phrases that you might ask when someone has chest pain. For example, when did it start? Is it sharp or is it spread out? Is the pain constant? Does the pain come and go? And these are all really important questions that you might want to ask. So it's got one for chest pain, it's got one for stroke, has one for trauma, OB, some psych stuff, as well as taking general history and doing a physical exam. The next app I'm going to talk about is called Up to Date, which is a very widely used app. It's basically a reference app where you can look up any medical condition and you can get all the information about how to treat it, how it presents, what are the medications that you might use, and what are the diagnostic tests that you might use. So I don't have the account activated on this phone, but I will show you what it looks like on my other phone. So the inside of the app looks like this, and you can search any topic that you're interested in and read about it. So for example, earlier today I was looking up the treatment of hospital-acquired pneumonia in adults. So I was looking up approach to therapy and what are some of the antibiotics that you might use. They often have a lot of algorithms that you can follow. So you can go through the algorithm and look up which antibiotics that you want to use for this patient who got pneumonia from being in the hospital. But it has basically any topic imaginable available within the app, so it's very useful to have handy. The next medical app I'm going to talk about is called MD Calc, also very widely used amongst a lot of medical students and residents. And it's basically a calculator, but has all these medical formulas already plugged in. So you can use it to do a clinical decision making, for example, for something like center score, you can use to diagnose strep throat. You can also use something like Curve 65 to see if somebody has pneumonia, whether they need to be admitted or if they can just take antibiotics at home. These are some of my favorites. Some of my recent ones, using calcium correction for albumin. Somebody had low calcium and I wanted to know the exact correction using the albumin value. What I also like about it is that it has a lot of the pearls and pitfalls and when to use and what is the evidence for the formula that you're using. So very, very useful. The last medical related app that I'm going to talk about is something called Figure One. And they've actually talked about this app as being sort of the medical Instagram. So it has a lot of pictures like x-rays, CTs, sometimes EKGs and things like that. And you can kind of read about the cases and try to diagnose what's going on with the patients. Kind of just fun to look through. And if you see anything interesting, you can read about it. I do spend a lot of time on Instagram and kind of looking at pictures and also editing pictures. I edit a lot of the pictures using Visco as well. So the next app I'm going to talk about is called Downcast. It's a podcast app. From using this app, I listen to a lot of the podcasts that I've been listening to, like Serial, season 3 is out, Reply All, which is one of my favorites. And I do have some of these true crime podcasts that I listen to, as well as some of the emergency medicine related podcasts as well. The next app I'm going to talk about is called Neko Atsume. Basically an app where you put out all these toys for the cats, and you can put out food for the cat, and all these cute cats will come and visit and play with the toys, and they will leave gifts for you, and with those gifts you can buy more toys for the cats to come. Basically, it's not really a game because you don't do anything, but I find this app to be so relaxing, and if you're having a stressful day, it's just really nice to kind of go into the app and look at the cute cats that are playing with the toys. The next app I'm going to talk about is another one that I use a lot for sort of fun and leisure, and that's Nike Run Club. So every time I go for a run, I use this app to track my run. Every time I post a picture, I get a lot of questions about which app I use to track my run, and this is the app that I use. Here are some of my runs from the past. It tells you the speed, it kind of tracks you geographically so you can kind of visualize your run. And I think generally it's just a nice app to track your progress and see how you did after each run. Another app that I like to use when I have some free time is an app called Street Easy. Basically, it's like a real estate app where you can look at some of the rentals and home sales that are available in New York. And I just find it really fun to kind of look through the buildings and see what's available, even though I'm not looking for an apartment. I think it's just really fun to see all the nice houses that are in New York City. The first app I'm going to talk about is called Rosh Review. You guys saw from my nighttime routine that sometimes I do questions at night regarding sort of the emergency medicine board review. So if you guys are in med school, you guys are aware of UWorld. So this is basically the emergency medicine version of UWorld, or one of many that exists out there. So you can kind of make an exam, write down how many questions that you want to do. Usually I stick with low numbers like 5 to 10. And then you can do the questions, you can review them. I don't always do a great job on my questions, but I think the whole point is to get things wrong and learn from them. So not too worried about my performance yet because I'm still pretty new at doing these questions. I think it's just handy to have this on your phone in addition to having it on your computer, so you can just do it if you have like 5-10 minutes free. I think a lot of the studying can be done in your scrap time, so having something like this on your phone is really helpful. The next app is also something I talked about in my nighttime routine, which is this app called Duolingo. This is an app where you can learn Spanish or other languages that are available by doing kind of the bite-sized lectures each day. So for example, there are all these different categories like school, people, greetings, schedule. Actually, what I'm waiting to get to is, if I get really good, there's a medical category that I can unlock. So I got to get through all these other categories first. But each lesson is basically just a few minutes long, so you can do it if you have just a couple minutes of free time, maybe 5 or 10 minutes. And I think just doing a little bit every day is really helpful. The next app that I'm going to talk about in terms of productivity and kind of streamlining everything is actually a password app. It's called 1Password. And this is where you can keep all your passwords together. Something that I realized when I started working at a hospital is you have a million logins. You have a login for your email, you have a login for your electronic medical records, you have a login for your residency website, you have your login for your personal email, and all these hospital things make you change your password every so often. So it's really hard to keep track of all these passwords. So I started using a password keeper app. This one is called 1Password, and I have found it so helpful. So this is where I keep a lot of my passwords that keep changing every few months. So that's it for today's video, and before I go, I want to thank Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Squarespace gives people a powerful and beautiful online platform to create websites. They make it easy to create a beautiful website or online store with award-winning templates. So you can create a beautiful website with Squarespace's all-in-one platform. So there's nothing to install, patch, or upgrade, and it comes with 24/7 customer support. Squarespace offers a unique domain experience that's fully transparent and simple to set up. The website templates are formatted so that it looks great on a computer, on a tablet, as well as a phone. It's used by a wide range of people like musicians, artists, designers, restaurants, and more. So if you guys are interested in trying out, you can go to squarespace.com/StriveToFit to get a free trial and 10% off your first purchase. Actually, before I close the video, I want to kind of let you guys know that I'm preparing to do a Q&A video. I think it's been almost maybe 10 months since I last did a Q&A video, so I think we're overdue for one. So you guys can feel free to send me questions via many avenues available, email, Twitter, Instagram DM. But as I have in the past, I am going to give preference to the video questions. Just because I think it's really interesting to meet you guys, and I think video question is a great way to do that. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Comment below on some of your favorite apps down below in the comment section, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!